Okay, so that's good. Okay. Could you give me a minute? I'm giving pocket money to my daughter who is going to school. Wait, ah. Oh, hello. Yeah. Is it? he he doesn't skip. Or is it the school still continue? The school doesn't close, is it? Mm, the school didn't close. Yeah, lah, if there is a case at that school, I wouldn't, I mean, if there is a case at my daughter's school, I wouldn't ask her to go to school. But so far, the Penampang school in San Michael, my daughter is attending San Michael. So far, it is okay there. Hopefully, touch wood. It's really bad, isn't it? With so many students got infected. I mean, like in Sarawak alone, it's like so bad there. Get me scared. And I bought this, the Dr. Claw. It's like you put it, like you could carry it with you. You could hang it on your neck, like, dangle it on your neck. It's a, I don't know whether you've seen it. It's called Dr. Claw. It's antibacterial. And of course, it will kill all any kind of germs surrounding about 2 meters around you, 360 degrees. It claims to do that. No. So I bought that for my daughter to bring. And guess what? She didn't even bother to bring it. She left it in her room. And I don't know, she wants to disinfect her room, I guess. I said to her to bring it to school, but she didn't. Have to tell children to what to do. Like I wanted to protect her, but very hard. Yeah, cases are going up. So since your exam is coming up soon, we need to take care of each other very, very well. You cannot afford to get sick during exam time. So today is the 19th, right? It is the week 14. So you have this week and then another week. Then your exam will be on the 6th of May, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And it's in the morning. So, like what I've mentioned before, today I want to give sort of like a briefing towards the final exam. Okay. Especially for the final exam, just to highlight certain important things. I'm sure I'm going to meet you guys also tomorrow. I mean, I still have a class with you guys tomorrow, but it's optional because we have covered all the syllabus. And also, today we're going to cover the final exam as well. I mean, past year exam, yeah, not the final exam itself. I don't have the question yet. And then basically, if we can finish it today, then there's nothing else I want to cover tomorrow. And if the class still will go on tomorrow, of course, but it's not how do you say, if you didn't turn up also it's okay, but if you have any questions you want to ask me, I'll be in the Google Meet, yeah, or you can WhatsApp me and ask me any question pertaining to the subject, because we have completed the syllabus basically, yeah. And today I want to discuss one past year, if I'm not mistaken. What date is it? The 3rd February 2020. Yeah. Um, I wonder if Farah is coming to join us or not. Is it your brother at Lock Yoke? Is it Calvin? Is it the Lock Yoke school got cases? Yeah, I heard about that. and Sekolah Agama in, is it Bukit Padang? Yeah. So a bit scary, kan? All right. So shall we do the briefing first or the past year first? Because I'm a bit concerned. Farah is not here. Nothing much about the briefing. It's just a reminder of what you should, be ready concerning the finals, about late submission. But it's better that I give the briefing so that um, all of you are aware of it. Again, I think this is your third time sitting for the final exam, so it's nothing new. So it should be okay. Yeah. So we start with the briefing first. I wonder where he is, Farah. Okay. Just to highlight certain things. I still have not received any updates concerning the duration of your exam. So I will let it as 3 hours for the moment until I get the final exam question. Um, because the question this time for your subject, well, for degree subject, most of the time the examiner is from main campus. So I do not get, very updated information um, from the person, the course coordinator. But for now, it is 3 hours. Um, to what I was informed, the exam can go from 3 hours to 5 hours. That means some papers can go up to 5 hours class. Yeah. So for our case, we'll go at the moment for 3 hours because of the exam question. We saw it's 4 hours stated there, but to my knowledge, it's only 3 hours. Okay. And that's the time. I already asked the exam department branch level, and she told me it's 3 hours. Yeah. Um, for your group, for this batch, no students are barred for the final online assessment. As you know, students will be barred from taking the final online assessment if your attendance is below 80% or 70%. I'm not sure about that. But again, already verified with the exam department, this batch, your attendance is good. So nobody is barred. Um, just to let you know, if your coursework marks is below 50%, then student is basically still can go for the final exam, but do take note that if your coursework is below 50%, conditions that is set by the exam department, that the student already failed the course if your coursework is below 50%. Thankfully, everybody here, your coursework is above 50%. I mean, 50% and above, so it's okay. So everybody is eligible to sit for the final exam. Make sure you pass this paper this semester because you do not want to repeat this paper. Okay? Right. For the final online assessment, um, your start time, because your paper is in the morning, it will be 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Again, I assume it is 3 hours. The acceptable submission time is basically from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., of course, but from 12:01 p.m. to 12:30 p.m., your submission is still acceptable. Yeah. However, if you submit after 12:30, that means starting from 12:01, it is considered as late submission. So I have received some guidelines concerning that, which I know all of you are aware of it already, but it's important for me to mention it again. Yeah. So therefore, because even though the acceptable submission time is from 12:01 to 12:30, you still will be allowed to submit your answer. But remember, it's not for writing your answer anymore. It should be used for the purpose mainly for submitting your work. Yeah. So the penalty for late submission is that if you submit from 12:31 to 1 p.m., your marks will be deducted 10 marks from the final marks. And then if you submit at 1 p.m., 1:01 p.m. onwards, your marks will immediately be downgraded to 0 marks. So this is very, very important, class. If you submit within 12:31 to 1 p.m., your marks will be deducted by 10 marks. But if you submit after 1 p.m., yeah, it will automatically be downgraded to 0 marks. Yeah. And if there is no submission from the student, you are considered absent. And on the internet, we will mark your marks as X only. Yes, in answering Calvin's question, yes, you can leave. However, if you leave early, say before 12 p.m. or 12:30 p.m., you can. But after I make a check on your answer, yeah, if there is something that is not right, then I would have to ask you to amend it. Hopefully, it's not exceeding the 1 p.m. lah. Should there be an extenuating mitigating circumstances, which we call it as EMC, if there is any, of course, it must be submitted to the branch, to me first of all, inform me about it within 48 hours after the date of the online assessment. Extenuating mitigating circumstances, it could be like electricity problem or internet problem, but that is considered as an application and it must be supported with valid reason and evidence. Okay, so you do not want to go through this because you'll be there's a lot of hassle. Hopefully there's no problem in terms of electricity and internet connection on the day of your exam. Okay, so it must be submitted within 48 hours. Okay, now when you write your answers, on the front or the first page of your answers, at the top, whichever side you put, make sure you write 3 important information. First is your full name. Write on the paper itself, okay? Your full name, your student ID, and the program of study. Like for your case, you should write RSD1. Yeah, just write the program of study. So again, I repeat, on your question paper, on your answer paper, you should write your full name, your student ID, and your program of answer. Must write on the front page, first page there. Yeah, full name, student ID, and program of study. Just write RSD1. Yeah. During the exam, the usage of webcam or any kind of camera during the final online assessment is optional to everyone. That means we don't have to turn on the camera. But of course, it is at the discretion of uh, the course coordinator and myself also. If the course coordinator notify me to request students to turn on camera, then I would have to do that. And of course, if let's say a recording is needed, then I would do the recording as well, because during that time, all students must stay on at the Google Meet, yeah, until you have submitted and I've checked your answer. it's okay. Upon getting confirmation from me, then you can go. Yeah. Um, Also, all of you are reminded to make sure that you have a backup copy of your answers before you submit. Yeah, make sure you have one copy in your keeping, just to ensure you have a backup, just in case anything happen. Yeah. So as similar to what we have been doing in the previous semester, um, you have to scan your work after you've written it on a foolscap paper or A4 paper. You have to scan your work and make sure you save in one PDF. Make sure your scanning is clear to be seen. It's not blurry, because if it's blurry, it will affect the marking process. Yeah, so make sure it's clear and easy to see. I've noticed some of you take a picture of it using your camera and then paste it in Words, then you save it in one single PDF file. That's okay, uh, but you must make sure that the file is not too big, because if it's too big, it's difficult when you want to upload, and also when I want to download also, it's difficult for me to transfer, because I need to send the file using email, so it will be difficult to transfer. But I've discovered I have a certain way to transfer the file now. Um, that is, I'm using the, what do you call that? The airdrop, yeah. So it's possible for me to transfer the file, but hopefully you do check how big is your file. Okay, so make sure you remember to save it in one PDF file, so that it's only one file that you submit. Yeah. So there is a ruling, however, students are not allowed to leave the Google Classroom after the end of the final online assessment. Now, this is different, okay? The Google Meet you can leave after check by me of your submission, but the Google Classroom is the classroom that you have been attending since week one. Do not leave from there, because if you leave from the Google Classroom, what happened is everything that you have saved inside, you have submitted, will be gone totally. And we need that your, how do you say, your attendance, you are in the Google Classroom, yeah, and it has to be there until you graduate. Yeah. So that is our backup lah, to confirm that you have been attending classes, right? So I think that's all. Any question you would like to ask, class? Any question you guys would like to ask concerning the final exam? I see you already here, Farah. Oh, okay. Noel?
Uh,
What did you say, Noel? No question, is it?
no question.
Okay. Kelvin, any question from you?
No.
Yeah, I guess you guys know about the exam session. For your group, I'm not worried because there's only 3 of you, so it's easier for me on that day. My worry is for the exam on the day before your exam, because I have 2 groups and it's a big group somehow. Not very big, but 2 different Google Meet, you see. So I don't know how am I going to handle it on that day. So we'll try and see. Hopefully no hiccups. Yeah. So sure, no question now, but if you thought of anything, do let me know so that I can answer any of your question. And give me 5 minutes like that for me to prepare the slides. I mean, to get it ready for the discussion of the past year, of which I asked you guys to do. So give me 5 minutes, okay? Okay. There's another matter I would like to raise up. Besides writing down your name, and then what else did I say? Besides writing your name on your answer script, what else was it? There are 3 areas there I mentioned. Your program, your name, your program, and what was the other information? Yeah, student ID. Thank you, Farah. Yes, please make sure you write those 3 on your answers, the first page only. And then you also have to fill up the student declaration form. It will be together in your Google Classroom. So that's the first thing that you would have to fill up when you join at 8:30 that day. So please fill it up just to confirm your attendance for that particular session. Yeah, as your declaration formula. Yeah, so that's why during the exam, even though your exam is at 9 a.m., you are to be in the Google Meet at 8:30 a.m. Okay, so that you can fill up the Google Classroom, the student declaration, and then get ready for the final exam. Yeah, to be released to you. It will be scheduled, but because of the time, yeah, sometimes it will be released a bit late. I might simply just do the assign because uh, I just set the assign so that it will be on time then. Okay, so let's start. This is the past year question for 3rd February 2020, and there are 4 questions as well. So let's discuss. I hope you guys have done the question. Did you manage to do the question? I hope you did. Um,
Question two only.
question what?
Question one and two.
Oh, you only did 1 and 2, is it? Did you manage to do question? You didn't do question 3 and 4?
Yeah, I didn't understand the question.
Oh, for question number 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start by looking at question number 1. This is, am I looking at the same question as you did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a question concerning with frequency distribution of the time spent of 50 swimmers in a swimming competition. So you can see the time, or the variable we have is time in seconds. And first thing you should realize that all the rows, they are of the same size. All are showing 5, 5, 5. So we don't have to worry about unequal class size. Of course, this question was set before. Hang on, let me double check the date again. This is before the MCO, so that's why this question there is still asking you to draw a less than or give. Yeah. So for this question, because the variable is about time, and if you look at the value given to us, we have 35 to 39. Look at the next value is 40. There is a gap between 39 to 40. So when you have questions like this, especially when you have data like this, you have to be very careful in such that the class boundary, you have to put the 0.5 um, on each limit. Like the lower limit, you have to deduct by 0.5, and the upper limit, you have to add by 0.5. Yeah. So first thing first, we have to construct an OGIF, get the cumulative frequency distribution table first, and then draw the less than OGIF. And then from the OGIF, you have to estimate what is the quartile division. And what is the percentage of swimmers who took less than 48 seconds. So from all this data class, you're supposed to construct a cumulative frequency distribution table. So this is what is needed. You can see the one that where my pointer is. The original information is the time in seconds, right? But you have to show, especially when the question asks you to get the cumulative frequency distribution table, you need to show the class boundary, and you should notice that there is an extra line up here which shows the lower class boundary first, which is 34.5, which is equal to 0. So notice the time and the F are the original information given in the question. So in order to answer cumulative frequency distribution table, you have to do an extra line to indicate the lower limit first. And we start off with 0, then followed by all the upper limit then, which we cumulated. You can see 0 to 5. 5 plus 8, you get 13 plus 9, you get 22, until you get the total, which is 50. Now, therefore, from here, once you have done the cumulative frequency distribution table, this is what is required, okay? And then next part is to draw a less than or give. So based on the information like less than or at the point of 34.5, you should start it off with 0. 39.5, then the value increased to 5. And when you do that, you somewhat have something like this. Yeah, all the points. That means here would be 34.5. Yeah, so what you see here, class, what I have is the title. This is if, of course, you are asked to draw the or give. But since we are still doing online, I doubt there is a question asking you to draw the or give. Yeah, because that requires graph paper. And normally graph paper, the the exam department would provide. So I think that's one of the reasons why there is no graph sketching. Yeah, so this is the title, a less than or give to show the time in seconds of 50 swimmers in a swimming competition. Now remember the y-axis, you should label it as CF, short for cumulative frequency. And looking at the x-axis, it's in time seconds, and all the values of the x-axis are written. Now you notice here that I do not start from the 0 class. I start at 34.5 because assuming we have this note symbol, I don't know whether you've used this symbol before to indicate that this area, the scale is not applicable. So that's why I start off at 34.5, somewhat a bit further from the 0. Because we don't start at 0, huh? We start at 34.5. Any question about this class? Is it clear?
No.
No question, okay? So therefore, once you got that, the next question is basically asking us about the quartile division. So in order to get the quartile division, remember that the question didn't ask you to calculate it. The question in this case asks you to get it from the OGIF. Now, before MCO, this is how or what you have to do. You have to draw the graph, okay? But since it's MCO, I bet now it's simply calculation. And before you calculate it, even if you use the formula, you still have to do the Q1, which is n divided by 4. And since our total is 50 divided by 4, you get 12.5. So if you're using the formula, then you have to check out from the table and then apply the formula. So I hope you know how to use the formula of the Q1. But in this case, you have to refer at 12.5, which is on the y-axis, on the CF. Yeah, so referring to 12.5, which is somewhere there, And when you reach the ogive, you can see it's just nice at when it reached the ogive, draw a straight line downwards. And if you have drawn it on actual graph paper, you should get the value of 44.25. Yeah? Did you get the same answer? Class?
Question, what again this? 2A2.
Huh?
What question is this? A2.
Yeah. Let me go back to the question again. This one
Because can I use
from from the ogive
the
estimate, or you use the formula, is it Noel?
yeah, 50
Ah,
divide 4.
oh, yeah. You could do that also if the but I'm answering purely based on this question. So I'm just showing it to you. So if you're using the formula, yeah, if you're using the formula, then it would be, well, 50 divided by 4, right? So once you got that, 12.5, you need to look at the CF. Let me go back to the CF. So 12.5, so we take here from this value. Yeah. So
Oh,
that means,
okay.
did you get the same? If let's say you're using the formula, because we got 12.5, so we need to refer to 13. And that's basically, this is our class boundary. But remember that this class boundary is, 39.5 to 44.5. So when you calculate it, let's say I want to calculate Q1, it will be 39.5, yeah, plus, what is the size? It is roughly about 5 divided by, what is the frequency, which is 8, and therefore 50, which is total frequency, divided by 4 and minus 5. So this is the formula in order to calculate for the Q1. Did you get all the values correct, Noel?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this is how we should do it if we're using the formula. But I'm answering this question purely based on what the question asks, that is using the ogive. So let me clean this up first. And therefore, what we have is this then, which I get it as 44.25. Yeah. This is not using the formula at all. It's just using the ogive. Yeah. So did you get, when you calculate it, did you get somewhat similar to this value? What
Sorry,
did you,
actually I used the OGIF from the OGIF. So I get the 44 second. Is it acceptable
you got 44 point?
to 44 only?
Oh, can acceptable. Um, yeah. Okay. Did any one of you use the formula? Kelvin and Farrell? Oh, you use the formula, is it, Farrell? Oh, now I see your question now, Kelvin. Ogive, no, it doesn't care about adjusted frequency. Ogive is only the calculation of the mode, then the adjusted frequency is affected. Yes. In this case, the n divided by 4, which is basically summation of f. You could also write it as summation of f, because this is Q1. Yeah, to replace the n lah. Yeah. Any question? Did I answer your question? Anything else that you would like to ask?
No.
Clear? Okay, so from here we could also get the Q3. Q3 is 3n divided by 4. So, oops, something wrong here. I didn't calculate it correctly. So it should be 3 times 50 divided by 4. Is it 37.5? Is it correct? I didn't
Yeah.
write correctly there. And then divide by 4, you get 37.5. Again, checking out from the OGIF, 37.5 is roughly there until you reach the curve or OGIF that is, then draw a straight line down and you should get 54.75.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so then we need to get the quartile division, which is using 54.75 times with, minus with 44.25 and then divide by 2. This is the Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. You get 5.25. Yeah, so that's your quartile division. Another part of the question is asking you to get the, I forgot the question already, but I think the value is 48. Yeah, so if I go back to the question, excuse me, yeah. The question is asking the percentage of swimmers who took less than 48 seconds. So we need to look at the OGIF, 48 seconds. That means I'm showing it with the pink arrow. You can see it on the pink arrow, about 48 is somewhere there. And basically that corresponds to a value which is 19.5. There it's written there, percentage of swimmers less than 48 seconds. So we have 19.5, which is the value you can read from the OGIF, over 50, because that's the total, times 100%, that gives us 39% of the swimmers, yeah, which takes less than 48 seconds for the 50 swimmers. 39% of them, yeah, show less than 48 seconds. Is that clear to answer this part of the question?
If my one is 38%.
Okay, that should be okay because it depends on the reading of your OGIF. Again, class, even though this time during the pandemic, um, you might not be asked to draw the graph, because I did remember asking the course coordinator and the person said if there is a question then it will be asked. I was a bit offended when I was told that way. I mean, like, well, maybe she doesn't want to reveal the question, I guess. Therefore, so if there is a question on asking you to draw from the start, then it could happen, okay, class. But I believe there won't be, but it might be they give you a graph that is already prepared and OGIF already prepared with the lines clearly. You can identify where is 12.2, 12.4. Then you have to read the value from the given graph on your question. So need to read it carefully lah. Yeah, just in case if the question asks you to draw, but they might give you a ready graph, and then you have to read from the answer there. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Do you understand?
Okay.
Okay, so that's answered. The next part of the question is asking you to get the mean and standard deviation. Of course, if the question asks you to get the mean and standard deviation, I hope you already calculated this. Now take note of your x. This is very important. You must get it correct. It should be 37, 42, 47, 52, 57, and 62, all obtained from the class boundaries. Okay, this is something important. To get fx is f times x. That's why you get 185. And how do you get fx squared? Is the answer you get fx multiply with the x again. So these are the correct answer, I hope. Did you calculate it? Did you get the same values, class?
Mm,
No, now remember it's
I
7 marks. Mm,
yeah, same.
same, huh? And then, of course, you need to get the total summation of fx squared. Get the total, yeah? Make sure you calculate it correctly. Also, summation of fx and summation of f. Don't go and total the summation of x. That is not required, not necessary. And if you go and calculate that, you're just spending extra time. Okay, so once you got that, then we are putting it into the formula, because remember this question um, is it a sample? I have to go back to the question again. I forgot. If you look here, oops, sorry. From the question, it doesn't say anything about being a sample. Yeah. So we take this question as a population. Put the values into the formula for the mean, and you get 49.5 seconds. And for the standard deviation, again, we're using a population standard deviation. And put all the necessary values in, and you get your standard deviation as 6.800 as seconds, that is. Any problems with that, class? All okay?
Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? When you get this, you have completed roughly how many marks already? Quite a lot already. Yeah. You have completed about 18 marks just answering all this. How easy the question can be, right? So the next question B is a bag consists of 11 green balls and 9 blue balls. Sock fan, pick 2 balls at random without replacement. So that should be your keyword there. This question asks you to draw a probability tree, and then asking you at least one ball is blue and if both balls are the same color. So here, I hope you have done it. You should have this as your probability tree. Notice that we have green, G, and B, blue. And of course, the probability values are 11 over 20 and 9 over 20. 11 over 20 for green, 9 over 20 for blue balls. Now, because it's without replacement, therefore, the next branch on this side would be lesser. It will be 19. That means it will be 10 over 19. And here blue was not affected because the green was taken. So it would still be 9 over 19. And same case below here, because the blue was taken, the green no changes, but the blue reduced. Could you hold on for a while? I need to check why my dog is barking, because there's nobody outside and I'm concerned. Wait, give me one minute or 2 minutes. Ah, hello. Sorry about that. It's a chicken that came into our place. Mm, my dog is very sensitive. So from here, I didn't put the joint probability though, but I know you know what I mean by joint probability. meaning you just write probability of GG is 11 over 20 times 10 over 19. I didn't do that because look at the marks. It's only 3 marks. So I couldn't be, whenever I see small marks, yeah, I don't write the joint probabilities. And this question, once you have done that, you get 3 marks for all this. What is the probability that at least one ball is blue? So when the question asks at least one ball is blue, we are considering every combination that shows at least one of it is a blue. So you can see here, this branch, yeah, G and B, B and G, and B and B, because it states at least one ball is a blue. So when you calculate that, that should give you all this combination of values. Oops, there's something wrong in my table. What is the mistake here, class? Do you notice that? Should this be 8 over 18? What else I was thinking. So let me adjust that. This should be 19, kan, class? Are you here?
Yeah.
Oh, what's wrong with me that I must be very, very sleepy that time when I did this. Is my answer correct? Can you double check? Can you calculate for me? Because I'm sure this is incorrect now. Is that correct? Bit lengthy. Do you get 139 over 190? 20 times 19 is 380. Definitely my answer here is incorrect, class, because I know if I put 18 there, I would have calculated it based on 18 as well. Must be like really not thinking that time. That luck. You can calculate it. Oh, maybe I don't put the 990 there as well. Should be just one big question mark. But the important thing is you know the method, okay, class? Yeah. Now the question for the both balls are the same color. This is what it meant. It means you can either have the GG and the BB only. So any question about this, class?
No.
Yeah, clear. So I will not get the answer. You can calculate this yourself, right? Yes, class?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. Right. So let's move on to the next question. Oh, you calculated it. Is it Calvin? Yeah. I'm too lazy to calculate it. Yeah. Calculate it, okay? Now, next is question 2. This question is a normal distribution. We have the mean and standard deviation. And if you notice, it's similar to the past year that we did last year. The one that we did last week. A similar format, not much changes. Yeah. So this one is asking score more than 80 marks. So we want probability of x greater than 80. Our mean is 74 and standard deviation is 7. So you notice or not, when I write the notation, I always put the mean and the standard deviation is 7 squared. Make sure you write it in the form of a variance by just putting the squared in it. This is the standard way of writing the notation for normal distribution. Don't ask me why, but that is If you check out any reference book, they always write this way. So from here, we do the standardization. X becomes a Z. When you minus the mean and divide by the standard deviation, and the value is 0.86. Yeah. And of course, you need to check from the table. That should be 0.1949. Did you get the same answer?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem with this one, right? Now we go on to the next question. Again, this one should be quite straightforward. 65 to 75 marks. Standardize it. You get values between negative 1.29 to 0.86. So class, when you minus 80 minus 74, and then you divide by 7, the value is more than 2 decimal places, right? The value when you minus 80 minus 74 divided by 7 is 0.86, sorry, 0.8571 and many the other decimal places. But because our table is only correct up to 2 decimal places, so we write it as 0.86. The actual value is 0.8571. But we just take 2 decimal places because that allows us to read it from the table. So when you check out from the table, you have to use 1 minus the 2 n's. Yeah. Use the total value 1 to minus them.
Miss, why I got 80 over there? Isn't it 75?
Sorry.
Because why 80 minus 74? Isn't supposed to be 75 minus 75?
Okay. Very good. My gosh, my mistake. Yeah. Why did I put 80? That is correct, Noel. Thank you very much. So it would be a different value now. So it should be 75 minus 74 divided by 7. That would be, oh dear, I have to really check the answer now. 0.14. Did you get the same?
Oh, yeah. Same.
So this one I have to check from the table again. So what did you get for 0.14?
0.4443.
4443, like that?
Oh, yeah.
Then your answer here should be 0.4572. Okay. Did you get the same, Noel?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So that's how we should get the answer. And same thing for part 3. I tend to make Alice mistake like that. And then same for part 3, what you need to do, because 15% of the students scored more than K marks. So to find the value of K, we have probability of X greater than K, which is 0.15. And when you check 0.15, it gives us 1.0364. So that is standardizing it, K minus 74 divided by 7. So 1.0364, you times 7 and plus 74. So you get 81.2548 as your K. Did you get the same for this one as well? Yes? Any question, class?
No.
Okay. So moving on to the next part. This time, tosses the fair coin 10 times. Find the probability that exactly two heads, at least two heads, and at most one head. So this is a binomial. So we have a binomial 10, and it's a fair coin. So to get a head is 0.5 lah. That's our P. So if you want exactly two heads, that means probability of x equals to 2. So you just have to put it into the formula. 10 combination 2, 0.5 to the power 2, and then multiply again, because 1 minus 0.5, you still get 0.5, 10 to the power 10 to the power of 10 minus 2. So when you calculate this, this gives you this value, and your final answer would be 0.0439. Is it the same that you get?
Mm, oh yeah, same.
Okay. Now the next question is at least two heads were obtained. So if I want to find the probability that at least two heads were obtained, rather than calculating two heads, three heads until 10 heads, the best way is to calculate 1 minus 0 and 1. Yeah, so I'm using the complement method to get the solution. So of course it's easier this way because you have to calculate lesser. Yeah, so we calculate 1 minus this value, which is for 0, and the other one is for 1. And when you put all the values in, calculate it, you get these, of which your final answer is 0.9805.
No.
Yeah, no problem, yeah?
No.
Okay. Any question, anybody? No question, huh? Okay, so the last one here is at most one head. So at most one head means 0 and 1 only lah. Yeah, we just add 0 and 1. And basically, you have these, which we already counted for the 0, yeah? You just have to add, oh, the 1 also we already counted earlier. We just have to add these two values, and that's your answer, 0.0107. Any question, class?
No.
No? Okay, moving on to the next question, which is a Poisson. So this is about insurance salesman. The lambda is the value of 3, yeah, and it's already telling us it's a Poisson, and less than 2 life insurance policy sold in a given week. The lambda equals to 3 is based on per week. So for the first part, it is lambda is equal to 3. So we're going to answer based on that. So since we want less than 2 life insurance, that means it's only 0 plus 1. Yeah. And when you put it into the formula, the e to the power of negative 3, which is your lambda, and lambda to the power of x divided by x factorial. So the values you get from calculating that are those, and you should get 0.19919. Let me know if I calculated it incorrectly. Now the second question, more than one life insurance policy sold in a fortnight. But the thing is, here, oops, I didn't change it, class. Oh, I did. but I didn't change the value here. Oh man, then there is some errors here because this one, because now it's a fortnight, it's 2 weeks, so your lambda is times 2 because lambda equals to 3 is for 1 week. But if it's fortnight is 2 weeks, that's why we have to times 2. I've already written it here, but I didn't change it here. So the value would be 6. And here,
That's what it means.
huh?
I did take into account the fortnight words.
Oh, so did you change this to become 6?
No,
Well, oh, you didn't.
no.
So therefore, if we calculate this, the value would be different. No? So give me a bit of time to calculate it. So not shift, alpha e to the power of -6, which is that, and that would give us quite a big number. Because I did this very late at night because so tired already. 0.02479 lah. I take up to 4 significant figures, and then this one would be alpha e to the power of -6, and then times 6. That would give us 0.01487, and therefore once we've calculated that, then the final answer would definitely change. 1 minus that value minus 0.0024, and the answer is 9826. Okay, do you understand what I did?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this is how you should calculate it correctly. This is correct now. Okay, class? All right, so that is question 2C. We go on to question 2. Oh, there's no 2D, is it? That's a surprise.
Don't have.
No 2D, is it? This is 7
Oh, yeah.
marks. I didn't get I don't remember. There's no 2D, is it?
Don't have.
Oh, okay. I thought there's a 2D. That must be the question 3. So let's check out for question 3. Now, question 3A first. For this one, yeah, the height of RSD students, it's a normal question, but the thing is slightly different. They give you the mean and the standard deviation, but there is a sample from 200 samples of the size 25 students are drawn randomly. Yeah, so that means our n here is 25. So if I want to find the mean and standard deviation, it's basically here. That's what we do, the central limit theorem formula, in such that what is given to us are these values. If you remember, the value of the mean remains the same, but the standard deviation, we have to consider what is the number of sample, which is 25. Oh dear, why didn't you? Oh gosh, This one's supposed to be 25 class. Oh, must be very, very tired. I better change it now. Or else it should be 25. So calculating that 6.5 divided by square root 25, which is a 5 actually. You get 1.3 here. So that is the difference. Everything here got to change class. That's why I was like, when I was doing this, the second part, I was saying, why this question gives such big values like 1.6783, I said. So this one should all be 1.3. All this need to change.
What
This is
does
hmm?
the 200 sample means? What that means? Each sample has 25 students.
Yeah. And in this case, we only calculated based on the 25 students only.
Oh,
Yeah. So no need to consider uh, 200 actually. So we have 1.3.
oh, means 25 is the sample size.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is to trick student of student taking 200, but actually it's only 25 taken. So
Yeah,
this
that
one should,
200 confused me a lot.
yeah, yeah, I bet that was the reason. So I'm taking 1.54 here, and the other one divided by 1.3. 2.3. I take 2.31. Yeah. Oh man, have to calculate all this again. Did you calculate this?
No,
No. So I have to check from the table. And of course, here need to check from the table. Ayo, so lazy to go and check from the table. But let me just get it first. Mm, it's not open yet. So what was the value? It is 1.54, right? So let's check this out.
0.063.
This is uh oh yeah, 0.0618. Is
618.
it?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, 0.0618. I forget 0.1
618.
uh,
0.0
uh, 0
0
point
point
0.
0 618.
See, my memory is very bad. And then the other one, 2.31.
0
2.
point 0
This one,
1044.
one 0.10.
01044.
Like that. Bit long, huh? 5 decimal places. So you just have to minus this. So 1 minus 0.0618 minus 0.01044. So you should get 92776. So now the final part here, Noel, this is where you need to do this. Noel. So that means the 0.92776. This is where you need to multiply by 200. So that means it got, I would take 186. Eh, 186 samples.
Oh,
Yeah, because to do the testing for all 200 samples is a bit taxing. So we just take the 25 one because that is more sensible in terms of collecting the data. If you do 200, that means the whole population. Yeah. Okay.
oh,
Any
200
question?
is considered population.
Yes. In this case, in this example of the question, of course. So I hope that is clear then. Yeah. How about Farah and Calvin? Any question?
No.
Okay. All right. So Farah, okay, also okay. So now we go on to the next question, which is the confidence interval, and this is concerning with the mean. So this is quite straightforward. Similar to the notes, it's only 4 marks. And basically, you need to state what is your population mean, which is about, it's okay, Farah, which is about the mean weight in kg of 50 selected matured durians. And of course, when we're doing confidence interval, do expect this kind of question to come out in your finals. You need to state all the important information. So please check for me, class, if I did write any incorrect value. Like the n is 50, the mean is 2.2, standard deviation is 0.8. You notice I'm using S because our n is 50, which is more than 30. So to be on the safe side, do check out if your n is more than 30, always put the S. Your alpha is 0.02, of which you divide by 2 because it is a confidence interval question. And therefore, check out from the table, it should be 2.3263 for 0.01. I hope I did check it correctly because, like I said, I did this about 1 week ago, last week. I know I did it last week. I was feeling very, very tired. So I did it until 3 a.m., I think. And do help me check, okay? The 98% confidence interval for the mean is therefore just put it into this formula and you should get uh, these values. That means the durians, the weight between 1.94 to 2.5 kg. Yeah, mature durians will normally reach around this weight. Yeah. So yeah. Any question? Did I calculate it correctly? Should be. I think this because the value looks reasonable. Any question, class?
No.
Okay, no problem. Farah, any question on this? Anything you need to ask? Yes, you understand how it is done, is it? Okay. All right. Then the next one is about confidence interval as well, but this is about population. proportion. Yeah. So we have population proportion, where it's about household, a house owned a bread maker, and from the information given, out of 50 households, 15 owns a bread maker. So that gives us a 0.3. And basically, at 95%, which is our alpha is 5%, divide by 2, we have 1.96, yeah, from the table. And of course, when we want to calculate 95% confidence interval for population proportion, this is the formula. And you just have to put all the values accordingly. And that should give us the value of, yeah, this value. That means about 24% to 36% of the household uh, owned a bread maker. So any question for this one? No problem. Okay. Right. So we go on to question part D. This is about 70% of working women in Malaysia do not take dinner. And we have 600 sample, 326 said they do not take dinner. And it's definitely a hypothesis testing question because of the 1% level of significance. But you can see the question, it has no mean and no standard deviation. So definitely it's about proportion. So the information that we have, our n is 600, our x is 326, does not take dinner from the 600. And of course, the claim is 70%, 0.7, and our p, when we calculate it, is 0.5433. So our hypothesis would be uh, that at least, it means 70% or more, and therefore our alternative is less than 0.7. So it's definitely a left tail. And when we do this, our alpha is 1%. So critical value, because it's a left tail, it's negative 2.3263 critical value. Therefore, our decision is we will reject if it's less than negative 2.3263. Otherwise, we do not reject lah. So when you calculate in the test statistics, it is identified, we get negative 0.3760, which is on the rejection region. So we reject and conclude no sufficient evidence to support the claim that at least 70% of the working women do not take dinner every day. That's the conclusion. Any question for this?
No.
Okay. So I bet you guys okay with the confidence in the hypothesis testing and confidence interval already, okay? Huh? Make sure you know this because it's question 3 always, all the time. Yeah, make sure you know how to do this, okay? Then we move on to question 4, the last one. This is chapter 3 question. It's asking about if there are 6 boys and 7 girls in a club, how many ways can we select a committee of 5%? So in this case, we don't focus on the gender, we just want 5%. So in this case, 6 plus 7, there are 13, right? So we simply want to find 13 combination 5. Now the second one, in how many ways can we select a committee of 3 boys and 4 girls. Now the question is more specific. 3 boys and 4 girls. So in this case, we need to have 3 from the boys, which is 6 combination 3. And then from the girls, 7. Yeah, only 4 are taken. So this is how we calculate it. And the third one, in how many ways can we select a committee of 4 persons that has at least one girl? So in this case, you have to calculate all the cases that shows only one girl. You see 7 combination 1, 2 girls, 3 girls, or all other 4 girls, because it's stated here at least one girl. So it could be 1 girl, 2 girls, 3 girls, or all are girls. Okay, so you have to add, calculate this, and then add all them up, of which you should get 1287. This one you should get 700, and finally you should get about 700 as well. Any question about this solution? Quite straightforward, isn't it, the question?
Right.
Yeah, no problem, right? Quite easy on how to do it. Yeah. And the last slide, this is the question class, and I didn't work out the solution because I was very, very tired already. I don't have the answer actually. I mean the final answer, because it was not shared to me. And the course coordinator is reluctant to share the answer because by right we're not supposed to share the answer to students. But for me, all this I prepare out of courtesy from myself, prepare it based on what we have covered. Okay, but I just would like to discuss that this is chapter 7 question. Yeah, that means you have to create the formula. So in this question, do you remember what you need to do? You need to get the total here. Same thing, the total for the y. Calculate x times y. Calculate y to the power 2. Calculate x to the power 2. And then get all the total in order for you to calculate the formula for the least square regression equation. Do you remember the formula for B? Then you need to get the A.
For
Yes,
question 1, 2, 3, okay lah. But question 4, yeah.
oh, so have you done question 1, 2, and 3? Because this one is
And
quite straightforward, yeah. I mean, it's the same as what has been being asked. Like this one is you have to apply the formula for the R, and then Spearman is the RS. Okay, so when we do this, you definitely would see what is the value number 1. Like here, we know this is number 1. Number 2 and 3 is actually these 2, but they are the same, so that would be 2.5 and 2.5. This is supposed to be number 4 and number 5, so it should be 4.5. Same thing here. When we're talking about the R1, yeah, and this would be the 6, 7, and 8. Okay? I hope you remember to do the ranking starting from the smallest. Like this one, R2. What is the smallest? Oh, it's this one. Second, third, fourth, fifth, and then 6, 7, and 8. Question 4 is chapter 7. correlation and regression, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this is what all the things I've written here is what you need to do. Like the B and the A is finding here. This is to find the Y equals to A plus with BX, if you remember. Yeah. This one is using calculating the R. So all this information getting the XY, the Y squared, and the X squared is important to calculate here. Now the interpretation of your answer must be depend on your R. Remember the table that you have positive or negative R. And remember your R must be between 1 to -1. Yeah. Your answer meaning it must be between that. Now the last part is to comment on the reliability of the result obtained in part 2 and part 3. So if the question asks about reliability, then the most important thing is you must say your R must be more accurate as compared to the Spearman's. That means the product moment correlation coefficient is much more reliable than the Spearman because the Spearman is only based on ranking as compared to the product moment correlation coefficient. It is using the actual value in the calculation of your R. So that is the most important word. Yeah, if you see the word, the question asking comment on the reliability, you must say that the Spearman is only an approximation to the product moment correlation coefficient because the Spearman is based on ranking of the data. It's not actually using the real values as compared to the product moment correlation coefficient. Oh, that's good, Noel. That's exactly what the question is asking. Yeah. So what do you think of the past year exam question? You think, I hope with the discussion of the two past years, it will build, I hope it will build some confidence in yourself to do the exam, the final exam. And I mean, be ready. Make sure you review back all the recorded video. I mean, those that you think you need. If you are already good, I mean, you understand the topic. Other than from all the seven, you only have 7 chapters class, so make sure you know it well lah, in preparation to the final exam. Yeah, hopefully too, Noel. Yeah, do not be careless. I myself, I made a lot of careless mistake in the calculation, but that because I was very, very sleepy. I have to admit, when I was doing the solution, it was very late in the morning. Yeah, and yeah, I was trying to finish it, but I couldn't. This question, I didn't do it either. Yeah. Um, yeah, I hope it will not be too difficult, tricky in that sense. But I know the course coordinator, the person is, her question can be tricky because she set the assignment for diploma student last semester. Um, Not last semester, in the first semester. I think it was last year in May, and it was quite difficult for the diploma students, that is. The question was quite hard. You really have to think out of the box. That is what I know of that person. But I don't know about degree paper because she has to prepare the paper based on the past final exam. Yeah, pass the exam question, because we don't want the standard to be, okay, this time it's very, very hard compared to the previous one. We can't do that. Yeah. So I do not worry, but make sure you do enough preparation because this paper it's easy to get A, and I'm sure you guys want that. Yeah. So any other question, class?
So far,
Yeah. Calvin, everything okay? No problem for you?
Just hopefully I don't make mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, I also make mistake. But use the time if you got extra time. Don't leave early, lah, Calvin. Check your answer again. Yeah. Um, yeah, tomorrow, like I said, I do not have the time to do the another pass here because as you know, I do not get the solution from my course coordinator. She did not share with me, and I do not wish to trouble her in that way as well. Therefore, I don't have the time to prepare something like this, which in actuality, we're not supposed to do this. Yeah, but I'm just sharing with you guys so that I don't want anybody to not be able to pass this paper. I want 100% passing rate for this paper. So I hope with the discussion, I would give you guys a clearer picture how the marking scheme is like, and therefore be able to answer as much as possible and get the full marks out of the allocated marks. Yeah, so like I said, we've done 2 past years, we finished the syllabus. We didn't do all the tutorial question, but that is fair because for us to discuss each and every tutorial question, we don't have the time. And some more the solution, I mean the final answer to the tutorial is available in your tutorial question. So you can refer to that. If there's any question you're not sure, you can ask me. But towards this late moment now, I wouldn't advise you to do tutorial anymore. You should be focusing on the past year. Yeah. So tomorrow is another tutorial session. It's not compulsory for you to attend, but maybe you just want to be in for the attendance sake. So you can show up, confirm your attendance, and if you have no question, you want to go, it's okay. Yeah. Um, it's based on whether you have any questions for me or not, because I don't think we should stay on in Google Meet when you have no question for me. Yeah. But if you do have question, you want to clarify certain matters, you want me to explain to you about the lecture notes, refer to other parts that you might need further clarification, we can do that. Yeah. So let me know if anything. But other than that, yeah, just show up tomorrow just to confirm attendance, and that's it. Unless you have other things that you would like to request, because we basically completed the whole thing. Yeah, I think that's all for today, class. Okay, I didn't give you guys any break for today, did I? Sorry about that. Totally forgotten when I started doing the past year already. So if oh so if there is no other question, I think that's all for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. If there's no question, yes, for attendance only, and then after that you can go, and maybe you just want to do finalization of other subjects. Maybe you have other assignments that you haven't completed. Yeah, so it's more relaxed on week 14 since we have covered all our syllabus. Yeah. So if nothing else, thank you very much. Take care, everyone. See you tomorrow.
okay. Okay, thank you, Miss.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye bye.